Good morning, friends. Welcome to the new stream of studies. Commerce. It's an interesting stream with interesting subject. I am Kala, PGT Commerce, KV number 1 Trichy, here along with you to discuss two subjects, accountancy and business studies. Both the subjects are so interesting. Accountancy is entirely a new subject for you. That's why we'll go through some interesting story. Then gradually we come to the our topic. Okay? I'm going to read this story. You can read along with me. Shall we start? Rahul's family is totally disturbed as electricity department people have come to cut their connection due to the non-payment of electricity bill from last 1 year. Mr. Ankit, Rahul's father, is claiming that bill amount was paid by him every year. So every month. He has sent his peon with amount every month. Electricity department people want the deposit slip, but Mr. Ankit failed to submit as he never collected deposit receipt from his peon. Peon has left his office from last 15 days and it is difficult to find him. What would have been the better solution for Mr. Ankit to escape from this situation of either to pay penalty amount of rupees 50,000 or to get their electricity connection disconnected? That too in the month of March when Rahul has to appear in his class 10 board exam. You can give answer as per your convenience. Okay. I am going to the next topic. Leave that answer there and come along with me. Okay. What are the better solution he could have to avoid such a situation? He could have keep the record of amount given to his peon with the date of payment. What record? What record he can maintain? He has to maintain a record. What record? He can take a book. Okay, he can write all those how which date he made the payment of how much rupees and get the signature of that peon. Okay, next one, what is after making the payment, he could have asked the peon for the deposit slip and file those things very systematically. He can collect the deposit receipt from peon and file all those things. These two things he has to do, but he failed. So, listen children here, what are the actions of this story? Consumption of electricity by Rahul's family for 1 year, receiving the monthly bill of electricity, handing over of monthly bill and bill amount to peon by Mr. Ankit, and notice by electricity department for disconnection of electricity, and notice to pay the due amount of rupees 50,000 with the penalty by electricity department, assembly of electricity and local people at the gate to cut the connection. Those things happens here. Okay. Then we are going another sum. What are the people involved in this story? How many people are involved? People involved in this story. Who are they? First one is Rahul. Next one is Mr. Ankit. And next one is peon. And next one is the electricity department. These people are involving. Those people are involving in this action. Okay, in this story, these many people are involving. However, the Rahul who has to appear the SAT examination, and this is for the peon and electricity department. In accountancy, we used to say this that is what the word we are using, you know, entity. What the word entity? We are using the word entity. That people that's having the separate legal existence in the eyes of law. We are calling that's what is the entity. Okay. An action which could have saved Rahul's family from this embarrassing situation. What are the two things that is a date-wise record of money paid by Mr. Ankit, he has to maintain a record. We are saying that is he has to maintain a record monthly stay. That's he has at the time of making the payment, he has to record that. In the accounting, we are saying there is another one term here, bookkeeping. What is the bookkeeping? Bookkeeping. So we have to maintain the proper record. That process is called what? Bookkeeping. And proper collection and storage of bill, deposit, receipts from you. He has to collect the bill and maintain that one, properly maintain. That process we are calling, that is the vouching. Okay, in the accounting we are calling, that's what is the vouching. Vouching means that's a then voucher. What is the, that's the word is a vouching. That document we can call what is a voucher. Okay, we are a relevant document. That relevant document means here that deposit receipt. That word we can say that is a voucher. That term is called that voucher. Maintaining the voucher in systematic way, that is called the vouching. With the help of that voucher, we are recording all the transactions in the books of accounts. That is called what? Bookkeeping. Books of accounts means we are maintaining certain books and recording to that there. That's called what? Bookkeeping. Here check listen. It is a process of writing or recording of monetary events. What is the money related transactions only we are recording. That's the monetary events along with their relevant record is called what? Bookkeeping. And that is maintaining the proper record is called what? Vouching. So here come children, here some action here. Rahul family is the consumer of the electricity purchased Mr. Ankit from the electricity department. We can purchase the electricity, but we can consume the electricity. So that person that who is purchasing some item from the some shop or somewhere, that's we are called what? The purchaser. Okay, next one, acceptance of monthly bill for electricity consumed. Ankit family consumed the electricity and they are receiving the electricity bill. Okay, that is a receiving of a voucher. That a voucher we are receiving against a liability. Liability, to no word we are heard here. That's a liability. Liability means what? We are liable to make the payment to the somebody. That's here Ankit's father consumed the electricity without paying anything, and then we pay the charges. We are liable to make the payment to some other people. That term we are called was liability. Okay, Rahul's family who receiver of the services without paying money while consuming it in the name of Mr. Ankit. Ankit family is consuming or Ankit is consuming electricity. They are not having, they are using, that is getting that services from the electricity board and but not paid the money. So Ankit family or Ankit has to give the amount to whom electricity board. So Ankit family we can say that's here it is who is the debtor. So debtor means what is the that's from the electricity board point of view. Electricity board has to get the amount from Ankit father. So Ankit father has to make the payment to the electricity board. So here Ankit father is the debtor of electricity board. That's very important. Debtor of electricity board. Ankit's father is Rahul's father is the debtor of the electricity board. That means he has to make the payment of the electricity board. So electricity board has to get some amount from Ankit. So Ankit is the debtor of electricity board. Okay. So electricity department which is providing the service without charging anything in prior. Hence it is a creditor. That is what is the Ankit case. Electricity board is a creditor. Okay, he has to make the payment to whom? Electricity board. So in Ankit case, electricity board is the creditor. In electricity board case, Ankit is the debtor. Okay, debtor means we have to get some amount from them. That's called the debtor. We have to make the payment to them. That is called the creditor. Two words we discussed, not two words: purchaser, liability, debtor, creditor. What's the purchaser, liability, debtor, creditor? Next one, notice by the electricity department is actually claimed the charge for the services from the Ankit, who is a debtor, and for them, and it is a current asset for the electricity department. Here it is a asset, one word is there, and it is a current asset is there. Asset means something value. That is called the released from that thing. That's called the asset. We will discuss in detail later also. These assets are the three types. One is a current asset, another one is the fixed asset, and next one it is fictitious asset or non-current current asset, non-current asset, and fictitious asset. These three types of assets are there. Discuss detail. Okay, that is a claim of non-payment of rupees 50,000 with a penalty is the liability of Mr. Ankit to get back electricity for his family. An event that process is happened, that's an event which involves payment of money either immediately or in future between two individuals who have separate existence in the eyes of law is called the transaction. What's the next word we are discussing here? That's a transaction. What's the transaction? An event or happening something and which involve payment of money either immediately or in future between two individuals who has a separate existence in the eyes of law is called the transaction. These people are calling, that's what is the entity, through entities. Here it is called the immediate payment of money either immediately or in future. If you are making the payment immediately, that is a cash transaction. If you are not making the payment of money now, that is the credit transaction. Transactions two types: cash transaction and credit transaction. Here, Ankit, Rahul, Piyun, electricity department have the separate identification in the eyes of law. You think how that's the electricity department? Yes, it's having a separate legal existence. It is an artificial person created by law having a perpetual succession and a common seat. So it is also a person. Each have the separate Aadhaar card of the identity proof. So this electricity department, all those example we used to call them what's the entity. We used to call all of this is the entity. Okay, an entity can be sued in the court by its name and it can sue other entity on its own benefit. Okay, let's go to the various terms here. Bookkeeping. Bookkeeping is a process of recording financial transactions and events in the books of accounts. Okay, it involves identify the transaction, if it's financial transaction or not, and events, measuring them in monetary terms, recording in identified transactions and event the books of account, classifying recorded transaction and events. These all those things are coming under the head. Which one is the bookkeeping? Then next one, it is what is a transaction? Transaction is an economic event entered into by two parties, that is the entities, that initiate the accounting process of recording it in the books of accounts of an enterprise. It is a financial event expressed in terms of money which brings a change in the financial position of an enterprise. Okay, what's the vouching? It is a process of maintaining the proper voucher. Next one, it is what's the voucher? What's a voucher? Voucher is an evidence of business transaction, cash memo, invoice or bill, debit or credit notes, etc. are the example of voucher. What's the entity then? Entity means an economic unit which perform economic activity is called what's the entity. So next one, it is what's the purchase? Purchase is used account to record the purchase, buying of goods or raw materials for resale or producing the product which is also to be sold. That is called what? Purchase. Liability, the amount owed or payable by the business. Debtor is a person or an entity who owes amount to the enterprise against credit sale of goods and services rendered. Next one, it is a creditor. Creditor is a person or entity to whom an enterprise owes amount against credit purchase of goods and or services taken. Next one, it is the asset. Assets are the properties owned by an entity or enterprise. They are the economic resources of the business. They are current assets, those assets which are held by an entity or enterprises with the purpose of converting them to cash within a short period of time. That means within the short period of time, we can convert that into the cash. So next, fixed asset. Fixed asset means or non-current asset. Those assets which are held by an entity or enterprises not with the purpose of resale but are held either on investment or to facilitate business operation. Next one, it is a fictitious asset. What's a fictitious asset? Those assets which are actually not asset, these are the loss not written off in the year which they are incurred but in more accounting one accounting period. That is the advertisement expenditure, preliminary expenses, etc. That means the preliminary expenses incurred at the time of starting the business. We couldn't write off one financial year. So we are keeping as an asset side of the our book of account. So this asset is actually an expenses, it is not asset, it is called a fictitious assets. I have 4 more story along with me. Okay, today I am this topic ends with this story. Tomorrow I will come along with another one interesting story. Today go through this one and study well all those terms we will discuss in detail in next story. These same terms, just to familiarize these terms. Thank you children. Have a nice day.